Hello, Baz at GotAUkulele with another instrument review. I've got quite a lot of these coming up now. So let's kick off with a new model to me from PSI ukuleles. This is the PSI-S-Leo 2 tenor ukulele from their standard series. As you can see, nicely shiny and glitzy. If this is their standard series, I do wonder what their high-end series looks like. There we are. It's a solid Acacia tenor ukulele, standard shape, with some differences and some tweaks and some bells and whistles. Really nice, finished in gloss. Let's have a look. So we've got a nice stripy Acacia top, all solid. We've got solid sides. See how the grain pattern is on an angle here? I prefer that to be in line with the body, but there we go, minor point. The sides are in two pieces, incidentally. And the back has a gorgeous sort of curly flame to it in the Acacia, which is a really nice thing. All finished in gloss, which is really setting that off. The back is very slightly arched. And it's a nice thing to look at. Decoration is the big thing on the side, clearly. We've got edge binding in rope, black, white, black stripes, plus mother of pearl inlay and mother of pearl inlay around the sand hole. Now, I'm not a huge fan of bling. I don't mark instruments down just because they have bling, but I may mark them down because I think the bling has been badly done or the bling has been overdone. I do think this has been overdone. Let's have a look at the back and sides here. The back has just the rope binding. I think it looks great. So why go with the mother of pearl as well on the top? I just think it's too much. That's just me, perhaps, but I'd prefer one or the other, and they've gone with both. We have a standard tie bar bridge there, which is screwed in place. The bridge mounting is glossed. I'm seeing that more and more. I don't like it. Why gloss it? We've got a fairly standard uncompensated plastic saddle here, and as I say, mother of pearl ring around the sound hole. We've got a strap button and a strap button on the neck heel as well, which is nice to see. More makers should do that, I think, but as I've been turning this round, you've probably spotted that, which is a personal sound hole or port. So basically when you play, sound comes out here for your performance. Sound also comes up here to the ear for the player. You don't see many of them on ukuleles. I think they're a nice thing. I do. One thing I would say about the sound ports though is they do allow you to have a very good look inside the instrument, see how it's built. I always look in the sound hole and report on them in my reviews, and looking in the sound hole there you can see the maker's logo in a wooden pyrographic inlay, which is nice. Snail instruments do the same thing. I can't show you inside here, I don't think I've got enough light, but have a look at the photographs on the website, because they'll show you a little bit more. Looking inside, we don't have standard top bracing, which is a brace here and a brace here, but we have fan bracing, which runs down like this. A classical guitar technique, and quite nice. It doesn't look to be overdone. The bracing is relatively delicate, but I would say this inside is a mess. If you're going to make an instrument where you can look and peer inside, basically you're putting a window inside of the instrument, I think you should really pay more attention to what you do with the glue. There are glue spots in here all over the shop. There are wood shavings and there are wood dust which is clumped, and I could probably even scratch some out. Yes, I can. It's messy. Where that glue has clumped into the spray or the finish or the glue, it's not very tidy in there. I think that's a disappointment, because if this was mine, I'd constantly pick it up and look at it and see that. Does it affect the sound? No, but I do report on it in my reviews because I think it says something about how they make their instruments. Otherwise, it is a solid instrument. There are no gaps or splits or seams showing. It's nicely done. It's just a shame, I think, that it's untidy inside. Up to the neck, hardwood neck with a joint at the heel and a joint at the headstock. It's got a really nice deep C-shaped profile, which I like. It's a bit narrower than I'd like, although fairly standard for Chinese instruments. We've got 14 nickel silver frets to the body, 19 in total, set into a rosewood fingerboard with edge binding hiding the edges of the frets. The frets are really nicely dressed, there are no rough edges whatsoever. The rosewood is nice and even in colour, although looking more closely I can see some sort of glue spots here from the process, and also where some of the polish has gone into the grain of the wood up here, which is a shame. More bling, we have inlay, marker, logo, 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 not a logo, logo, logo. I'd rather have just had dots. Thankfully we have player dots on the side, which is good to see. It's a nice enough neck. I don't like these though. Up to the headstock, more bling, we have the edge rope binding plus the mother of pearl again, and more mother of pearl on the logo inlay. But it's a slotted headstock design. Love the flat end here, and unbranded gold backward facing open geared tuners, which work really well. Nice style buttons to them. I like that a lot. Plastic nut, by the way. Yeah, it's a nice thing, that, but too much bling for me again. All of that comes in with Ukulele and Nylgut strings for £280 in the UK, which is a pretty good price for a solid Acacia tenor ukulele of this sort of spec. Pretty good price indeed. I think it puts it a bit lower than the Kalas. But what's it sound like? Well, it's not overly built, it's not overly heavy. It's a nice instrument, feels solid, nicely balanced to hold without a strap, although you got those strap buttons. It's got a really clear tone across the strings. Each string kind of has its own place in the mix. It doesn't get muddy. It's quite a thin tone. It's a ukulele tone, I guess, but I've heard bassier and woodier tenor ukuleles, many. But it doesn't have a huge amount of volume. I'm getting volume out here, which is what the microphone's picking up. I am getting volume out the sound port, and that's really nice. But it kind of, when it's strummed, it's crying out for a bit more oomph, you know. Picked, thin sound again. I've got mixed views on this one. I've played instruments like this before and I sold them on because I couldn't get enough enjoyment out of the sound. As a player's instrument, I think it's really nice. I think it's really clear, really bright. So if you like sitting at home on your own, playing for your own pleasure, I think it's lovely. But I think if you go to a jam or a club situation, I think you'll find yourself a bit lost in the mix. It just doesn't. There we are. Nice instrument, nice looking thing. Too much bling for me. You may love the bling. Sound wise, a little bit lacking. Clear, precise, and volume isn't everything. I mean, I do get this. I mean, some people, volume just isn't everything. A clear tone is really important too, but I think as a social instrument, I think you'll probably be wanting a bit more. Maybe a string change would help with that, although Ukuleles do tend to give most of the punch that you need with strings. But there we are, the PSI-S-Leo 2 tenor in solid acacia, 280 quid. Not bad.